They did not believe these individuals who sought only amusement in the woods. Welcome to the Charon Files. The stories you are about to hear are testimonies from living witnesses of what moves beyond understanding, of what refuses to be explained. Each of them stood at the edge of what is known and looked into what lies beyond it. My name is Charon, Ferryman of the Dead, the one who waits at that edge. What follows is what they brought back. May they prepare you for your own future encounters. There are moments when the veil between what is known and what remains unseen thins to a mere whisper. These are the instances when the world as humans perceive it seems to falter, a subtle tremor beneath the surface of the ordinary. They speak of encounters that defy explanation, of perceptions that twist the familiar into something unnervingly alien. It is in these fleeting shifts that the true nature of their reality is momentarily revealed, leaving behind a chilling awareness that all is not as it appears. A beat is skipped, a note played out of time, and the echo lingers. Tyler, in New Hope, Pennsylvania, recounts a journey into the woods with friends where inexplicable sights and sounds, including a tall figure and a strange chopping noise, began to manifest.
Me and a few friends had been having weird experiences in the woods near our house, but once we got to high school, we did not hang out there as much and did not see each other as often since we went to different schools. One day, two guys at my lunch table were talking about their weird experiences in those woods, and I said that I had experienced the same thing. All three of us decided to go into the woods together after school to see if we could find anything. For context, we both had seen a tall figure or person watching us from the tree line, as well as hearing voices and other strange sounds. Some other guys came too. They did not believe any of it, but thought they could just have some fun in the woods. We started just after school, and while the sun was up, it was just us messing around in the woods. We found a bunch of old and abandoned buildings and other things like that, pretty much mapping out that area of the woods. We had kind of forgotten that we were there to prove something existed. As the sun started to set, we started to leave. That is when me and the two other guys heard a really weird sound. I genuinely cannot even put it to words. I guess it was like an axe chopping wood. We stayed behind to investigate, while the other guys kept walking out. When we followed the sound into the woods, we found a really strange scene. It looked like the remnants of a building, but all that remained was the hole in the ground left from the foundation. There were school desks, street signs, and ladders in there. Most concerningly, there was a pile of shoes in the corner that all seemed to be really small. We decided to keep moving, since we were all really weirded out, and started moving back towards the trail. A bit further down the trail, we got a call from T, one of the guys who was really skeptical about the whole situation, and he asked where we were. We told him that we literally yelled to them that we were staying behind, and he said that they would have been too far to hear by then. While we were focused on this, we heard something moving in the woods to the right of us. It definitely was not a small animal, and it sounded loud. The biggest thing in the area than a deer. With the sound of the leaves on the ground, we could tell that it was at least as big as a person, maybe bigger. We told T that we would talk to him in person, and immediately hung up. As we walked his trail, we could distinctly hear something or someone walking to the left of us, but they were too far, and it was too dark to see anything. The weird part is that it was on the right before, and abruptly switched to the left. To distract ourselves, we decided to talk, but the subject quickly shifted to our experience in the woods. C told a story about how he was in these woods with his brother, when a rock the size of a watermelon randomly landed next to them, and they could not tell who threw it. Later they saw a tall, pale man, wearing only cargo shorts. As he was saying this, I said that if anyone sees anything, they should just run, and everyone follow their lead. Later down the trail, I was in the middle of telling a story of my own, when C looked into the forest to our right and froze. It was hard to make out since it was dark by now, but I could tell he was terrified. He randomly started sprinting down the trail, and R and I followed without hesitation. As we ran, I could hear branches breaking to our right, but I just assumed it was one of them at the time. I looked back at R at one point and he was struggling with his shoes, since he chose really impractical ones for this. A bit down the trail I saw someone else running, who I assumed was C. I looked back ahead of me and saw C in front of me, and I realized that there was someone or something chasing us. I screamed at R to run, and I think he got the memo with the fear in my voice. Eventually we reached the end and got out safely. For context for this next bit, the trail actually ends really narrowly, with a 4 to 5 foot hill of dirt that you have to climb. After we got out, C told me what he saw. Apparently there was a tall figure deep in the woods just watching us. When he was running, apparently he also saw the figure to our right, explaining what I heard. While we were explaining this to everyone, T randomly pointed at the entrance, and started panicking and stumbling over his words. When he finally got it out, he said that there was something watching us. He took too long to say it, so whatever was there was already gone, but he, a former skeptic, still stands firm to this day that there was something watching us, as well as everyone else.
From Bethel, Alaska, Ben details a vivid and terrifying dream experience where he found himself trapped in a dark room, compelled to participate in a deadly game involving a knife.
It started last night, or rather, it didn't end when I woke up. Last night I had a strange dream. I was sitting in a dark room. The air was stale and cold, and a low, persistent hum seemed to vibrate in the floorboards. Across from me sat a woman in a black hoodie. I could only see her long, ash-blonde hair, pale skin, black lipstick, and sparkling eyes. A knife lay on the table, its blade glinting sharp and silver. She told me, in a voice that was terrifyingly calm and even, that we had to spin the knife like a bottle. Whoever the blade pointed at had to cut themselves, and whoever cut themselves 5 times had to commit suicide. I felt a sickening, leaden weight settle in my stomach, but I couldn't move or speak to object. She waited for me to go first. My hand felt distant, disconnected, yet I reached out and gave the hilt a weak, trembling flick. The blade spun faster than I expected, a dizzying blur of polished steel and imminent fate. It slowly lost momentum, wobbling, slowing, the tip finally stopping, pointed directly at me. My turn. I stared at the knife, then at my own hand, then back at the knife, unable to lift it, unable to commit the first act of violence against myself. My throat was dry. I can't, I managed to whisper. A small, unsettling smile touched the corner of her lips. She reached out, her movement slow and deliberate, and snatched the knife from the table. "If you can't do it," she said, her calm voice now laced with a cruel kindness, "I'll help you." I was frozen, unable to even flinch as her pale hand, wielding the blade, approached my face. The knife was icy cold as the tip settled against my cheek, just a few millimeters below my eye. I felt the sudden, sharp pressure as the steel penetrated the skin, and then a strange, smooth drag as the blade cut a clean, shallow line across my face. I woke up shattered, disoriented, my heart hammering against my ribs. Her calm voice and the sight of that spinning blade were truly terrifying. That dream seemed so real. I realized something warm and viscous was running down my right cheek. I reached up, my hand trembling, and my fingers came away stained crimson. There was a shallow, painful cut on my face, exactly where the girl had drawn the blade in the dream. I wanted to scream and run, but my terror felt too large, too overwhelming to be contained. The reality of the wound was sickening proof that she was real, that the game was real, and that the nightmare was not over. The animal fear inside me screamed that I must never close my eyes again, never risk returning to that dark room. And yet, beneath the paralyzing dread, a more complex feeling began to bloom, a horrifying, undeniable curiosity. Would she be waiting for me when I fell asleep tonight? Despite the cut, despite the lethal stakes, a small, dark part of me ached, with a strange, sick longing to see those sparkling eyes just one more time. I haven't slept yet. I'm terrified of what happens if I do.
Elizabeth shares the unsettling account of her aunt in Fairbanks, Alaska, who, while hospitalized, spoke with deceased family members and revealed details she had no way of knowing.
My aunt was diagnosed with breast cancer around 2 years ago. She responded well to treatment, and for a while it looked like she was headed into remission. Unfortunately, within the last couple of months, tests revealed that not only had it come back aggressively, it spread to other organs. None of us knew that she would be gone so soon. As she was hospitalized, she began speaking to who she said was her mother and sibling. Only thing is, she had lost them both during the pandemic. My aunt would look past my uncle and have conversations with her loved ones. Not uncommon for those in their final moments, but he said he'd hear her talk about things she had no way of knowing on her own. He heard her say, "Yes, I know there's X amount of dollars in the purse." He didn't think much of it, but when he went home to shower that night, he found that a package had arrived for her that day. He opened it, and it was a purse one of her relatives had sent as a surprise for her. He looked inside to find the exact amount of money my aunt had said. My uncle was certainly perplexed and taken aback. During her final moments, she was talking to my uncle, and was seemingly being interrupted by someone he couldn't see. She kept pausing to say, "Just give me 1 minute," to whomever it was. Finally, she told my uncle that her mom and sibling were there for her, and asked if she could go with them. He knew it was time and told her it was okay, and that she could go. She took one final breath and left her body. We wanted her to be healed so badly throughout her battle, but I know that she finally is.
These accounts reveal moments when the fabric of perceived reality seems to ripple, offering glimpses of what lies beyond a momentary misalignment, a beat skipped in the rhythm of existence. The names of the witnesses have been changed to maintain anonymity. If what you have heard tonight mirrors something you have experienced, leave your story in a comment below, and we will include it in a future episode. Don't forget to subscribe. You wouldn't want to miss